Hello there, lovely lady, and thank you for joining me on today's video where I'm going to talk a little bit more about why reading a book is not necessarily going to help you solve your career challenge. And it's not just reading a book, it could be an article, watching a video, any of those things. Now, I know this might be a little controversial, and I have nothing against reading personally or books. I read quite a bit, but here's what I want to talk to you about today. And actually, I want to start off by asking you a couple of questions to see if you can relate to what I'm talking about here. So when was the last time that you had a challenge? And I'm not just talking about something simple like changing a light bulb at home or, doing something around the house where, to solve a small challenge. It's perfectly understandable how you would Google it, get on YouTube, watch a YouTube video to fix it. What I'm talking about here is solving a bigger challenge, right? Where you need some kind of transformation. You need something to be able to help you have a pretty significant change. So going back to your career, if you need, say you're looking for more confidence, or you want to know how to really speak up, how to be taken seriously, you want to position yourself for that next job, you want to know what do you do in an interview process to really get you hired, you want to know how you can negotiate a better salary, you want to know what's the right next step for you, all of these kinds of things, right? So if you decide to find that kind of information through Googling or reading some books and those kinds of things, while that is valuable and it definitely has its place in terms of giving you the information or the knowledge that you need, the question that I have for you is, in those types of situations, how often do you buy that book or subscribe to that magazine or read that article or whatever it is, but don't necessarily apply what it is that is telling you to apply? Or maybe you buy books and you've got your bookshelves are lined with books where you had the greatest of intentions to read them all the way through and to implement what they're teaching, but for whatever reason life got in the way and you just never ended up getting to that point where you actually went all the way through and actually implemented it in your life. So that is what I'm talking about, and that is why when you're looking for some kind of transformation or some kind of change in your career, books are simply not enough. They can motivate us up to a point, they can give us some knowledge, but when it comes to actually implementing and following it through and getting the results, books are simply not enough. And I'll actually tell you this from my personal experience as well. I've experienced this, and I'm that person too who has the best of intentions. I have books that have been recommended to me, books that I find that I think are really going to help, and they sit on the bookshelf. They don't necessarily get read all the way through, or I have intentions of maybe going back to them when I'm ready to implement what they teach, and it just doesn't really happen for whatever one reason or another. It doesn't really happen. So while they have some value and benefit, it doesn't get me all the way through from point A to point B. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, is this idea that books in itself or articles or those kinds of things are not really going to get you the transformation that you're looking for. And I want to unpack this and tell you why, and give you a little bit of a story as well from my recent experience. So as you probably know, because I've shared quite a bit in the last few weeks, and especially since my TED Talk video just came out last week, I recently went through the whole TEDx process and was on the TED stage, I guess it was a few weeks ago now. And going through that process, it was brand new to me, very scary, didn't know anything about it before, doing that. I didn't even know anyone who I could speak with personally about their experience on the TED stage. So everything was brand new. And so what I did is I did some research, first of all, right? So I went and I researched online. I bought all the TED books, read them all, read the books on how to do a TED Talk and all of these things, even the book by the founder of TED, all of it. So read all of that. But what I came to realize, and this is something I'd already known, but what I came to realize was that as great as that was, and yes, it did, help me to a point, there is no way that simply reading those books or reading those articles would have prepared me for the TED stage. There was definitely something missing. There were actually two things that were missing, but what I want to talk to you about today is really, it boils down to one thing that's really, really important, and that you absolutely need, is critical for you getting to that next level of success that you want, whether you're trying to overcome a challenge or whether you have a goal in mind in terms of your career of achieving, or maybe it's just, dealing with whatever is happening right now in your career and you feel like you have some stumbling blocks or you just feel stuck where you are. In order to get to that next step, it's going to take more than simply reading a book, attending an event, watching a YouTube video, reading an article, those kinds of things. That is simply not enough. And here's why. Because we all know that when we do that, and it's great, to take that initiative and to do that and to maybe get that jolt of inspiration and motivation in the moment. But without the right level of support to get you from A to Z, it's simply not going to work. And there's four main reasons I want to share with you today why that is not the most effective strategy if you're trying to really turn your career around or, achieve something really important to you. So the one thing that I want to share with you is the first reason why that's simply not enough is because while the books can tell you, give you the strategy and tell you how to go about doing it, you don't know if specifically what they're, outlining is going to work for you. You don't know for sure if that's going to apply to your specific situation. And also you don't know how to apply it in your unique situation, right? So with what's going on with you, you don't know exactly, because that author, even though they have you in mind when they're writing the book, they're writing to a very broad audience, right? So they're not necessarily going to be able to speak to your specific situation. And it's going to be very challenging for you to take that and then apply it specifically, because you don't have access to them to be able to ask those questions when you get, when there's a stumbling block or you're not sure or things are not working the way that they're supposed to. So those are, that's one thing. You don't know if it's going to work. Number two, you don't know how it's going to apply to your specific situation. But also it doesn't give, and number three is it doesn't give you the level of support that you need through the process, especially if you're buying that book with the intention of implementing what it's telling you to implement. You don't have any kind of support, right, along the way. You don't have anyone to check in with, and you don't have somebody, kind of cheering you on and things like that and making sure that you actually get to that result. And then this is the word that it boils down to that's incredibly important that you need to be able to move forward in your career. And that is accountability. Accountability, right? So this is why this is so, so important. If you don't have somebody, the right person in your corner, holding you accountable to taking those steps and, being able to be there, not just in terms of support to help guide you on exactly what, how to go about doing it for your specific situation, but also holding you accountable so you don't just fall off, halfway through. And we all know, we've all experienced this at some point where we have the best of intentions, we go in trying to accomplish something, and then life happens. Something comes in the way and it's easy to get derailed, it's easy to get, demotivated, and then our self-talk gets in the way and we start telling ourselves, oh, maybe it just wasn't meant to be, it doesn't work for me, I tried and, oh well, it's not going to work for me. And we stay in that spiral of staying stuck. But if you have someone accountable, somebody who believes in you, somebody who knows how to support you through your specific situation, and somebody that can hold your hand and make sure that you actually get to that finish line, especially in those periods when it gets tough and gets challenging and you're not sure how to overcome those challenges, that is a critical piece to this. And like I said before, I'll give you an example from my own TEDx experience. So I told you about how I reached out for every resource, when I first got started in this process. But I can tell you that that was not enough to be able to help me to deliver that speech and to even get me to that stage. What I needed was support and accountability every step of the way. So if you watch one of my previous videos, you know that I worked with someone by the name of Ryan, who knows this process inside and out. He is a TEDx organizer, and he helped me with the application process. And I really believe that as a result of him, I was able to get 100% acceptance to every single TEDx venue that I applied for. They invited me to that next round to either interview or do an audition. Secondly, I had a speaker coach, Heather, who was absolutely phenomenal, who was assigned to me by TEDx when I got accepted to do the talk. And so she was able to, obviously listen to me, listen to my idea, help me to formulate the idea, help me to get it to the point that made sense for me to present. She helped me with all my blind spots. So there were things that, I didn't even realize I was saying or doing that was coming across in a different way. And she helped me with all those nuances. She helped me very specifically navigate in my situation with my message and helped me to get that message across in a way that's really, resonated with people. And I've already started to get some really great feedback, which I'm so grateful for. But if it wasn't for Heather holding my hand, holding me accountable and making sure I actually got to that stage, and didn't get cold feet or anything like that, there's no way I would have been able to get to that point. And I can tell you time and time again from my experience, not just in my career, but even in my life, is that without my coaches, and I've got several of them that have helped me along the way, but without them, there's no way that I've been able to, I would have been able to get the opportunities, but also navigate those challenges and stay the course and get to those results a lot faster with a lot more ease and a lot more flow. So, I mean, as you all know, I'm definitely a big advocate for coaching, and as a coach myself, I have coaches to support me, and I know how valuable they are to me, because we all have blind spots. So whether that's a coach or mentor or somebody, I highly recommend that you have somebody like that in your life that can be objective, right? So not necessarily a close friend or a close family member, because there's so much in your story, and it's much more challenging in that case to be able to have somebody with an objective point of view. Whereas if you have somebody that is a professional, then it's a lot easier for you to stay the course. It's a lot easier for you to get that right feedback and be able to get that different perspective from somebody who knows what they're doing, right? From somebody who's either done this before or has helped others achieve those kinds of results that you're after. And I can tell you, being on the other side of the fence and not doing that has caused me so much pain and agony that I've now learned my lesson. And the first thing that I normally think about if I'm going after especially something big and significant, is who can I lean on? Who can I reach out to support me through this? Because I know that trying to do this on my own, especially when it comes to any kind of transformation or looking to reach that next level of success, there's no way that I can do it with the ease, flow, and increasing my level of success than if I reached out to someone who knows what they're doing and can really hold me accountable and support me through the process, and who's really an expert in the area. So I hope that resonates with you, and that's my beef with books and online resources and that kind of thing. And again, absolutely nothing wrong. It definitely has its place. But when it comes to you trying to get a big result or trying to do something that's really important to you, I highly recommend that you reach out to somebody who can really be that person for you. They can support you and hold you accountable to get to that goal, because without that, your chances of success really diminish, to a large extent. But with that right help, you can get there so much faster and easier. And really what happens is, if you don't, not only does you tend to stay in that spiral of stress, frustration, confusion, you just feel so stuck. You start to feel less valuable than you really are. You start to question, you start to doubt, and all of these things can creep in and really just keep you stuck and keep you safe in that uncomfortable comfort zone, when you're meant for so much more. And the more time that goes, the harder it becomes to make that change, and the more likely it is that you will stay stuck in that position. And sadly, what I've seen time and time again is that leads to all kinds of other complications, health-wise, in terms of when you under so much stress and you're overworked and you're overwhelmed and you're not doing the things that really light you up. It has an incredible toll on your health. It can even lead to depression and all kinds of other stress-related illnesses. It can really impact your time with your family. It can impact those those key relationships that you have. It can impact your relationships at work, and it can absolutely jeopardize your career and what you're meant for. It can even lead to you being laid off simply because you're not sure how to really step into your value and really own who you are and what you're there to do. So you make yourself completely indispensable when it comes to your career. So if you want help with any of that, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to do a free breakthrough call with you, a career breakthrough call, where I will help you uncover the biggest challenge that you're facing, which may not be what you're thinking, but I'm also going to help you with a step-by-step strategy on how to get you to where it is that you want to go, no matter what that next step is in your career. Maybe you want to position yourself for promotion. Maybe you want to get a raise. Maybe you want to see what other opportunities might be a good fit for you in your company. Maybe you want to look for opportunities outside of your company. Maybe you're in a leadership role and you just want to get better at where you are, so that you feel valuable, you feel like you're having that impact, and you really are you have those really strong professional relationships, no matter what the end goal is for you. If you find yourself in any of those types of situations and you need a little bit of help, then I am more than happy to be that person to support you and to help you with the step-by-step process on exactly how to do that, and to help you make sure and drastically increase your chances of getting to that goal much faster than you ever thought possible. So again, feel free to reach out to me and schedule that breakthrough call. You can go to sharistasebastian.com/schedule. I will go ahead and post that link below, but go ahead and grab your spot in the next few days. I have, my calendar is open in the next couple of days for you to be able to do that. And I look forward to chatting with you soon. So thank you so much again for watching. Feel free to comment below. I'd always love to hear from you. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And I look forward to chatting with you soon. Bye for now.